mask. Is this all right here, guys?
Yep.
Yep, I'm ready. Did you want to go upstairs in one of the rooms?
Oh, this sounds fun. This looks like I've been, you know, sitting outside.
Do you want to go upstairs?
Yeah. No, this is good.
Vianna, what are you doing here in Australia?
I'm teaching a class.
What sort of a class?
I teach a kind of meditation and prayer to kind of focus people's thoughts, go up, know their body, be very, very meditative prayer state.
These people here are learning how to be...
They're learning how to be teachers.
Teachers in what?
Teaches them how to kind of explore our own belief systems, change some of our beliefs to actually help us in our life and kind of work with our subconscious, which is, you know, kind of determines a lot of what's going on in our life.
You're teaching people how to do faith healing?
Well, they have to bring their own faith. I just teach them how to get into the meditative state that they may get in when they fast for 3 days. So whatever religion they are, they bring that with them, and I teach them meditation, and then I teach them how to explore their subconscious a little bit.
How much do they have to pay to come to one of these courses?
Well, you know, I set a set fee, and then the host has to set a fee, and so they may vary a little bit, so I'm not always sure exactly how much it is. But they teach it, and they use it with people, and they actually help other people.
You make some extraordinary claims.
Okay.
The first being that you had cancer and it disappeared overnight?
I was told I had cancer, and it took me a long time. I actually had it for a while. I used a lot of herbs and a lot of different things to try to get better, but in the end, I found out this meditation technique that I was using to kind of give people what's called readings actually healed my leg. Yeah.
What evidence do you have that this works at all?
Well, my leg healed really fast, and I didn't understand why, so I would actually practice it with other people. But people have been asking me to teach classes from the very beginning, so overall, over the years, I've got people that have actually had some pretty amazing instantaneous healings. They've got their medical records. I don't believe we heal them. I think God heals them. I think that there's something inside of us that gets triggered when we're in a deep meditative state that can actually maybe trigger a placebo effect in the body, different chemicals in the body. But overall, I would say it's the Creator, it's God.
Why do you claim that you can cure cancer?
I don't ever claim I can cure cancer, and I believe that people in their own state of minds can do a lot of amazing things, but I think that God has done some pretty amazing things, but we're not really sure why. We realize that our brainwaves are going really deep into a theta-delta brainwave, and we've got a lot of doctors that are exploring it, you know, and Japan has a lot of doctors that are exploring why the technique may be triggering some kind of healing in the body.
You claim that your kind of healing can grow back amputated limbs.
Oh, no. I said I believe that one day we'll be able to grow back amputated limbs.
But that's what you said. You said that this kind of healing can
actually,
grow back
somebody asked me
limbs.
a question in England a long time ago. They said, do you ever think that it's possible to grow back an amputated limb? And I said, one day I think it would be possible. Whether it's
through faith healing?
Through faith healing, I don't know if I have enough faith to actually do that yet. I mean, maybe I've got some growing to do, but I think that science is already growing back ears, and you know they're already taking and doing things with stem cells. So I think that I've seen some people that have done some amazing healings where they've actually done some stuff with their ovaries and stuff, but those are testimonials that are not really from my clientele.
What sort of things with their ovaries?
I just know that there's a little doctor that's a gynecologist in Italy that has actually sufficient evidence that one of his clients actually kind of grew back her ovary, so that was kind of cool. But I don't know, you know, the human body does a lot of things we don't understand, but if we can actually work with it and actually kind of focus our thoughts, I think that our thoughts have a lot to do with our health.
Do you have any evidence at all that any of the claims that you make, do you have any evidence at all to support any of the claims that you make?
Well, there's lots of claims that have actually, well, there's one on YouTube, that woman that had melanoma, and it was completely gone. Her oncologist didn't know why, but she has all of her medical records there. But for the most part, these classes are learning how to focus their thoughts, stay in a good experience in their life, try to keep from stress, kind of just live life. I mean, the healing aspects of theta healing are remarkable, but so is the positive thinking and how to live your life.
But there's no evidence whatsoever that there's any healing effect.
Well, I just told you that there are definitely some evidence, and the Japanese doctors are definitely looking into it. And there are definitely testimonials. But you know how this is.
But that's not evidence.
Well, it is to them, and it is for their records. Their records are evidence.
Why do you claim that you can cure HIV?
I don't actually claim I can claim HIV, but I've told people that I've watched people that had HIV actually do remarkably well with theta healing. But we don't tell people not to go to doctors. We tell people to work with their doctors. In fact, a lot of my doctors at home actually can validate that I not only use them, but they actually use me to help them in some of their things in their life.
Just on that, many people would say that what you're doing is not only, I guess, ripping off vulnerable people who are desperately ill, but it's also really dangerous because people won't go to their regular doctors and have proper treatment.
We always tell people to go to their doctors. In fact, how do you think we would get any evidence at all if we didn't tell them to, if they were sick and we worked with them, we wanted to go to the doctor and see if there's any kind of progress. We believe in working with everything. So that's the thing that didn't get ever said. I mean, years ago, I got, the BBC chased me down the lane and started screaming that I claim I cure cancer, and I wanted to turn around and tell them, we believe in going to doctors. They said that I was anti-doctor. I'm not anti-doctor. I'm actually pro-doctor. We have a Theta Healing Medical Association in Japan where they're actually investigating what's happening. I think that that's the key. I think if something is happening and changing things, people would be more interested in knowing why. Because it's certainly if you believe in something and it can change your body, if you have faith, that deserves to be looked at.
But faith and belief doesn't cure illnesses.
I think there's a lot of people that go to church that would probably argue with you. And there's a lot of people that...
But there's no evidence to support any of this.
That pray, well, to me the evidence of God is simply breathing. But that's to me.
Let's talk about the fraud case quickly. You've been investigated for fraud in the US?
Well, this is not true. They took me to court for a class the woman had a problem with, and Theta Healing was free from any fraud charges. They just are saying that...
But the court ruled that the claims you were making...
Yeah, but the court was a very...
are not true.
No. The court tried to rule that I didn't have cancer because I was still alive. This is why we are appealing it with bigger lawyers, because my constitutional and civil rights were taken for granted. I had a perfect, amazing expertise doctor explain to them what I had, and they still did not think that I could still be alive if I had had cancer. And not only that, but they would even let evidence come in about some different illnesses. And they wouldn't let me say healing or God in the courtroom. So I have a lot of civil issues, and I plan on winning. But I think it's something we should all understand, that we shouldn't have to fight for our right to believe in God. I mean, this is not an inquisition.
It's not about a belief in God. It's about making claims about medical...
Well, we don't make claims if we don't have medical records there. I mean, this is what it was, this is what it looks like. We are saying that anything is possible. We also teach people to go to their doctor, but you've got to understand, Theta Healing is about an attitude and about a meditation to kind of calm your body, adjust your body. It's actually a really beautiful, amazing technique about becoming a better person. The claims that are all made by, an ex-daughter-in-law. I'm sorry my son left her. I'm sorry she's still upset about the whole deal, but overall...
The claims aren't just made by, a jilted daughter-in-law. I mean, the medical profession thinks that what you're doing is outrageous.
Well, that depends on who you're talking to, because I have lots of doctors in Idaho Falls that are my friends and my doctors that believe that the medical claims are absolutely wonderful. They'll tell you your state of mind and how you go about your illness is super important. And they can tell you that they don't understand how the body works. So I think depends on which doctor you're talking to. I think they're more alarmed that you know, I think they don't realize that we tell people to go to the doctor. We're not anti-doctor. I think that's a misgiven that I'm hoping that you clear up.
Many people would say, you're nothing more than a con woman.
Well, I certainly work my butt off trying to teach people about God, so I don't believe I'm a con woman. I just believe I'm a woman of faith.
But are you giving hope? You're giving hope to desperately ill people who should be going to see proper medical people.
Well, see, again,
and taking money from them.
But no, they see proper medical people, and you don't realize. If you look at my website, I see people all the time that are sick. I don't charge them money. I'm there to see if I can help them in every way possible.
Just tell me that one more time. Sorry, can we just change the
Right.
framing and
If
leave it
I
out a bit more?
work on my people.
Can I ask you that question again? That you say that one more time, if that's right. Are you charging desperately? You're just charging desperately ill people money and giving them false hope.
No, I'm not giving them false hope. And when it comes to actually working on clients and sick people, I work on the sick people for free. I don't charge these sick people money. I charge these people to teach other people. If they want to charge somebody money for a session where they actually sit down and talk about their personal issues and things going on in their life, that's what I trained them to do. But if you called me tomorrow and you had colon in your cancer, cancer colon, and you called me and said, Vianna, can you see what you can look at? Can you see if you can help me feel better about my life or anything? My office would give you an appointment. I would explain to you from the very beginning. You have to go to the doctor. We're going to pray for you. This is what we're going to do. Let's see what happens. You know, I don't claim that you have to ever quit going to the doctor, ever. Because I believe that doctors are inspired by God too. I mean, look at medical science and what it can do.
So what is it that you do?
I just teach them to believe in living a good life, have faith, use the power of prayer to help you in any aspect of your life.
And how much do you charge for that?
Now, I just told you, I charge to teach classes, but when you came to me as a client, I don't charge my clients.
You don't have any evidence at all, scientific evidence, to back up the claims that you make, do you?
You know, I just told you, it's medical. I've got a medical test that see they did a research on this. They've done one research study, and I have a nuclear physicist that is interested in doing another research study. I have the Japanese Medical Association that's doing different studies. So I think that we've done enough that people are starting to see why it works. You know, alternative healing and medical healing should not fight each other. We should actually work together to find solutions.
What would you say to people who think that you're nothing more than a con woman?
I would tell them I'm not a con woman. You know, but I don't think that many people realize, you know, actually most of the people I work with believe in God. And believe in faith and believe in what we're telling them to improve their life and become better people. So, I mean, you're the first person that's ever walked down the street and ever called me a con woman, ever. I mean, ever. So, actually, she was this morning. So you know, I just try to live the best life I can, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I almost died 20 years ago, and I feel like I owe it to my God to teach people that they can have faith.
Where's the evidence that you ever had the cancer that you said you had?
Well, you know what? That's the fun part. There is actual evidence.
Where is the evidence?
Well, actually, most of it's locked up in my safe right now, and I can't wait to go back for an appeal so I can actually go. You know, you have to realize I was put on trial in Idaho, which is right next to Utah, so Mormons believe in hands-on healing, but they believe that they should do it. And so I was kind of, you know, saying that we believe in God and healing was kind of an interesting issue. That's why I'm bringing in some California lawyers with my other lawyer to go after what rights are broken for me.
Just to wrap up and to clarify, I don't mean to hold you. You don't claim you can cure cancer?
I believe that I had cancer and it was healed. I believe that God can heal anything. But I also teach people very clearly that we are going into a meditative state and we're praying.
You don't believe You don't believe that you can cure cancer?
I don't believe anyone should say they can cure anything, okay? But on the other hand, legally in the States, if you are free from cancer for like 7, 8 years, you're actually legally allowed to use the word cure.
Do you have any problems at all in taking money from people to teach them something that has no scientific basis whatsoever?
I teach people because, now, you realize you keep saying that when I just told you, there is
no scientific evidence.
All right, so if your mother was sick, really sick, and all of a sudden she was well, would you be interested in knowing how she got well?
I'm talking about the existence of scientific evidence.
I was just curious. You would, right? You'd be interested. Well, that's how most of my clients come. My clients come because someone was sick, they got well, and people want to learn what they can do. They're not told not to go to the doctor. They're told to pray. Now, you go to church and you're told to pray. So, it's okay. I mean, I'm teaching prayer and meditation.
Going to church and pray, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars.
No, you actually have to pay like 10% of your income if you're in certain churches, and that's like thousands of dollars.
It's very true. It's not a whole story. Not a whole bunch of people mentions.
I'm saying, come on, you know. And
how do you feel when people make these accusations towards you? How does it make you feel?
It's not my people, they're good healers, they're good people. And I just feel bad that they're just not allowed to practice being better people.
I'm sure they're allowed to be better people. It's just about how much money they take from people that's the issue.
It's not the issue. A lot of these people work on people all the time. They don't take anything. And then you have to understand that we believe enough in this that we teach other people this. I mean, it's not like...
This is a multi-million-dollar business.
I wished. I wish.
It'd sure be nice if it was. But it isn't.
It's all right.
It's not? Around the world, faith healers charging people?
I don't know about healers.
So what would be your message to the critics?
Well, I can't tell you honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a critic, because I think you should investigate things before you trust them. I mean, I feel sorry for people that follow things blindly. I think that they should look at it, but I don't think that they're looking at us. You know, we are putting people on machines or electroencephalographs and seeing that things are actually happening. You know, I have a little girl that had no right brain activity, no midbrain activity. She was totally everything, schizophrenic, bipolar, everything the doctors could name her. And we worked on her, and she has left brain activity, midbrain activity. She can say, I love you, to her father.
And you're claiming that you did that?
No, I'm claiming that God did that. But I can say that going into the right meditation mind, it might be triggering something. I mean, it could be triggering hormones and things in our body that we have no idea. We should be looking at why it's working, not throwing finger at people. I mean, the critics used to say the world was flat. And they used to say that there was no such thing as bacteria.
But they weren't taking tens of thousands of dollars off people,
You know,
vulnerable people.
I don't take tens of thousands of dollars off vulnerable people. I work with people who are highly educated and amazing. You know, people that are taking the classes are people that are not educated.
The cancer institutes in America use people just exactly like Vianna, and use processes just exactly like Vianna, and charge people for it.
Eddie, it's all right. This is my husband.
G'day, I'm Ben. Pleased to meet you.
Ben. I better go.
I'm sorry to have held you up for so long. I'm so sorry. That didn't make you cry. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And thank you for answering those questions.
So, how are you going to cut it?
I don't know yet.
I'm not sure. Negative or balanced?
Well, no, I'd like to do a quick interview with Mark, if that's all right. But look, don't want to hold you up anymore. I've kept you waiting way too long.
I just want to know if you're going to attack me or not on television.
Yeah, is it going to be a balanced thing, or is it going to be something where you're just doing one-sided?
Well, we've got your
Yeah, tell me now.
No.
You've got my side.
But so I'd love to talk to Mark and a few others. A couple other people give us their testimonials. I'd really appreciate it.
Can we get you back at lunchtime? Because we're going to start a class.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry. I know we've kept you way too long, so I appreciate your time.
Sometimes the media will allow us, whoever us is, to have a look at the final thing.
Yeah, no, we don't do that
You don't
with
do
anyone at all.
Okay.
No, yeah.
So what's it going to be? Which shows are you going to be on?
It's going to be on current affair. But look, I don't want to hold you up anymore, Vianna.
Wait,
Thank
She
you.
was nice. And by the way, she was very nice.
She's my right.
She was very, very nice.
Yes.
Which current affairs?
A current affair.
Yeah,
Which
when?
one?
It's on Channel 9, 6:30.
Tonight.
Tonight?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vianna. Appreciate that. Mark, can we have some quick interview with you? Just your quick.
I've got to get in there and get organised.
Lottie,
We've got a class. We're
Oh,
already
I've got a
late.
class to run. We've got to get organised.
Mark, can we have a chat to you at all?
Yeah.
Just a quick
Absolutely,
chat?
later. Yeah.
Later, okay.
Yeah.
How are we able to sort of meet you at lunchtime or something?
I'll ring you up. I'll ring you up and let you know.
So, I'm hearing,
We'll just hit trees.
what sparked you to do this anyway?
The story, my chief of staff just sent me down here this morning.
I know, but where did it come from? Where did you get the idea to come down here in the first place?
I'm not sure. I
You're
just
not
got
going to tell
told.
me.
No. I just got sent here by my chief of staff. I haven't spoken to you about it yet.
So would he know?
I guess so. I've got
Would
to
we
go back to
be
the
able to find
office.
out from him?
Yeah, sure.
And he'd
Mark's
tell
got
me.
my details, so
And he'd tell me.
I've got no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy to try and find out for you. I'm happy to.
That'd be great.
Happy
Thank
to.
you. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for your time.